Hey everyone, it's Dr. Sarah Andreas. And I think sometimes we really do need to take a look at why aren't we getting our promotions that we want? Why aren't we getting the opportunities that we want? And let's start with the first reason. The first reason that I think is you don't raise your hand for anything. People who are volunteering and being successful at the things they volunteer to do get noticed. So if there's an opportunity to help on a project in your organization, help on the project and do a kick-butt job at your current role and at the parts of the project that you take on. Now, I see this happen all the time as well, which is totally the opposite. Somebody who volunteers for everything but doesn't do a darn thing really well. Don't be that person, because that's just as bad. All right, reason number 2 that you might not be getting a promotion this year. You've not invested in yourself at all for years. You haven't invested in yourself personally, and you haven't invested in yourself professionally. You are the biggest, best investment you can ever make. Now, when I was young in my career, I didn't really believe that. And my husband would always tell me that. I would be like, hey, honey, I want to take a class on cake baking. I don't know why, because I like to learn, I guess. And he would say, you know what, Sarah, you're the best investment you can make. So if you think that investing in cake baking will help you be a better person or a better cook or whatever it is, then you should do that investment. And so I did. Eventually, I got smarter about what I invested in. So that way I was making sure that I was getting a return on my investment for business, as well as I'm getting a return on my investment for just my personal enjoyment. So there has to be a balance there. So if you haven't invested in yourself, and you might be thinking right now, Sarah, I don't have money to invest in myself. You know what? That's an excuse. And here's why. There's always a way. If you feel strongly enough about investing in yourself, you'll find a way to do it. You find a way to buy $100 shoes. You find a way to buy Starbucks coffee. So think about it. If you really want to invest in yourself, there's a way. But then also think about the ways that you can invest in yourself that don't cost a lot of money. You can watch YouTube videos that talk about it. You can go volunteer somewhere so you get practice at that while you're helping another person. You can read books about it. There's all kinds of ways to invest in yourself. So be creative. The third reason that you might not get a promotion this year is because of your self-talk. You have a voice inside your head, and all of us have it. And most of the time, we let that voice become our inner critic who holds us back from everything that we think we want to do, because it tells us everything that we're not prepared to do, everything that we're not good at, instead of celebrating who we are and what we are and what we offer to the people in the organization around us. So this year, if you want to make a difference and you really want to be able to put your hand up and say, hey, I'm ready for a promotion, or I'm ready for that next big opportunity, you have to manage your inner critic. And you have to start replacing those voices that are crappy with ones that are positive and ones that really cheer you on and make you feel like I can do anything. And the way that I did that is I had to really be able to catch the inner voice, because I didn't hear it. And I think that's for a lot of us. A lot of us don't hear when our inner voice says, oh, you're too young, you're too old, you're too tall, you're too short. Whatever it is that it's telling you that you're too, you have to be able to hear it consciously so that you can combat it. So what I had to do was I had to reprogram, so that way there was a conflict when that inner voice was telling me that I'm too not good enough, or I'm too young, or I'm too old. So I created a mantra that I pasted all over the place. And I kid you not, it was on sticky notes in my car visor. When I flipped down my car visor, it was on my mirror. And I told myself that I was good enough, that I'd paid my dues, that I was a professional, that I knew what I was talking about, because those were all the voices in my head that were always getting in my way. And when I did that, and I read that mantra to myself all the time, eventually I was able to hear when I was telling myself I wasn't good enough, and I was able to correct it. I'd say, no, that's no longer the truth. The new truth is, and I repeat my mantra. And eventually I reprogrammed how I think And I reprogrammed that voice inside of me. And now I focus on being my biggest fan, on being the person who says, you know what, Sarah, it might be a little bit challenging, but I'm sure that you can do this and you can figure it out. So here's what I'd like to encourage you to do. If you want to move to the next level this year in your career, volunteer, raise your hand, invest in yourself. You're your best investment, and manage your inner dialogue. Be your biggest cheerleader, because it'll make all the difference. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you next week.